Let's move on to the next question from the chapter linear equations from one variable. So the sum of two numbers is 11 and the product is 30. Then the numbers are. So we have two numbers here. So that means that we have two variables here. None of the number is given and none of the relation is given. It's just said that the sum of the number, let's say the other number, one number is x and the other number is y. So the sum of the number is 11 and the product is 30. So x into y is 30. So from this equation, we get to know that x would be equal to 11 minus y, right? Or y would be equal to 11 minus x, anything. So we know that x into y is equal to 30. So I am substituting y by this value. Why? Because we already have x here. So it will become equation in one variable, right? So it's x into y is 11 minus x, which is equal to 30. So we get this as 11x minus, what is x into x? X into x is x square, which is equal to 30. But now we notice that this is not a linear equation, right? What is this? It is an equation with the power highest power 2. And what are those equations called? These equations are called quadratic equations, right? Now, how to solve a quadratic equation is another thing. Quadratic equations are of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. But is this equation in that form? I mean, it's not given in that form, but we could make it in that form. How can we make it in that form? We could take the x square to here. So minus x square becomes plus x square. So 11x is plus 11x here. So when we take it to the next side, it becomes minus 11x. We already have plus 30 here. So plus 30 is equal to, this side would be empty. So this is 0, right? So this and this are in the same form right now. So in here, a, b and c are constants, right? And x is the variable. Now what is the solution of this? How do we solve this equation? So basically we could find x by doing minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Now what does this mean? Now we have an equation in the form ax square plus bx plus c. How do we solve it? We solve it by taking the negative of b first and then we add or subtract. Why do we have add or subtract there? Because we need to get two values. Why do we get two values? Because it's x square we are talking about. X could have two values, right? Now, so this is minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So what is a, b and c? So here in this case, a and b are two coefficients of x square and x. So in here, the coefficient of x square is 1, whereas the coefficient of x is minus 11, right? And c is always a constant number, which is 30. So let's solve this equation using this formula. So we have x square minus 11x plus 30 is equal to 0, right? So what was the form of the equation? Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And how do we find x? X is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac whole divided by 2 times a, right? Now, let's see. Let's solve for x here. What is a? A is equal to the coefficient of x square. Here it is 1. What is b? It's the coefficient of x. Here it is minus 11. And what is c? C is equal to 30 here. So let's find x. X is equal to negative of b. Here it's already negative 11. So what is negative of negative 11? We get 11 plus or minus root of, what is 11 square or minus 11 square? 11 square is 121. Minus 11 square is also 121. How come? Because negative into negative is positive. So 121 is b square minus 4 into a is 1 and C is 30, right? Whole divided by 2 times A is 1. So it's 11 plus or minus root of 121 minus, what is 4 into 30? It's 120. 120 into 1 is 120 only. 120 divided by 2 into 1 is 2. Now this becomes 11 plus or minus root of 121 minus 120 is 1, right? By 2. So this would have two options. Root 1 is 1, right? So we could write it as 11 plus 1 by 2, or another solution is 11 minus 1 by 2. So what is 11 plus 1 by 2? It's 12 by 2, that is 6, or otherwise 11 minus 1 by 2, which is 10 by 2, which is equal to 5. So 5 and 6 are the solutions for this equation. So what are the answers for this question? It's 6 and 5. But there is a relatively easier way to find the solution of the problem here. Here we know that the product of these numbers is 30. So let's see, what is 8 into 3? 8 3s are 24. It's not the answer, right? 9 into 2 is 18. Again, it's not the answer. 7 into 4 is 28. Again, it's not the answer. But 6 into 5 is 30. So by looking at the options, we don't need to do the whole things. But by just looking at the options, we could find out that 6 into 5 is 30. And that is the answer for the question. So let's solve this question. Divide 60 into 2 parts so that 3 times the greater maybe exceed 100 as much as 8 times the less fall short of 200. So what is the greater part? So we have 60 divided into 2 parts, right? So one would be x, and what would be the other part? It would be 60 minus x. How did this happen? This happened because if I'm saying that I'm dividing 60 into 2 parts and I'm saying that one part is 20, what would be the other part? It would be 60 minus 20, which is equal to 40, right? So 60 is divided into 2 parts, x and 60 minus x, right? Now, so that 3 times the greater, I'm just saying that 60 minus x is the greater number. Anything could be anything. So I'm just saying 60 minus x is the greater number. So 3 times the greater number maybe exceed 100. So it should exceed 100. That is 100 plus as much as 8 times the less fall short of 200. As much as 200 minus 8x. X is the small number, right? How do I get into this equation? It is said that 3 times the greater maybe exceed 100 as much as 8 times the fall short of 200. So we need to find the greater part. So this becomes 180 minus 3x. I'm just multiplying it inside, is equal to 100 plus 200 minus 8x. So this becomes 300 minus 8x is equal to 180 minus 3x, right? So let's take this to the other sides. Let's transfer this to this side and this to here. So 180 is positive here. So when I'm taking it to this side, it becomes negative. So it becomes 300 minus 180. So we have minus 3x here. We have minus 8x here. When I'm taking minus 8x to the other side, it becomes plus 8x, and we have minus 3x there. So 8x minus 3x is 5x is equal to 300 minus 180. What is 300 minus 180? We have 0, this becomes 10, this becomes 2, we have 2 and 1. We have 120, right? So what is x? X is equal to 120 divided by 5. How did this happen? Because 5 is multiplied here. So we divide the number here. Now 5 and 12. We have 2 5s at 10. 20 in 24. In 20 we have 4 times of 5. So x is equal to 24. Right? So we need to find the greater part here. And 24 is the smaller part. So what is the greater part? 60 minus 24. Right? So this becomes 10 and this becomes 5. 5 minus 2 is 3 and 10 minus 4 is 6. So the answer is 36. Now moving on to the next question. The ages of two persons differ by 20 years. right? So I have the age of person 1 is equal to X, and the age of second person, right, is equal to Y. The difference between these two ages is equal to 20 years, right? Now, if 5 years ago, the elder one be 5 times older than the younger one, right? So, I'm saying that X is the age of a person, and 5 years ago means X minus 5, right? X minus 5, 5 years ago, the elder one be 5 times as old as the younger one. So, let's say that this is the elder one and this is the younger one. So, the elder one be 5 times as old as the younger one. This would be 5 times Y, right? What are their present ages? So, before 5 years, the elder one is 5 times as old as the younger one. So, 5 times as old as the younger one. So, from here we get a relation X is equal to 5Y, and we know that before the difference between their ages is 20 years, right? So, we know that X is equal to 5Y minus Y is equal to 20 years. What is 5Y minus Y? We get 4Y is equal to 20 and Y is equal to 5. But is he 5-year-old now? He is not 5-year-old right now. He is how much year old right now? 5 years ago, he was 5-year-old. So, what is his age now? It's 5 plus 5, that is 10 year. So, the younger one is 10 here. So, what is the age of elder one? Elder one is 5 times the younger one, which means they are 50, right? So, we have the answer. No, that was 5 years ago. The age gap between them is 20 years, right? So, 10 years is the younger one. So, the elder one is 10 plus 20, that is 30-year-old. So, our answer is 30 year and 10 year. Now, moving on to the next question. Given that 4p plus 9q by p is equal to 5p by p minus q, and p and q are both positive, the value of p by q is. So, we know that 4p plus 9q by p is equal to 5q by p minus q, right? So, what do we do here? We just cross multiply, right? Why do we cross multiply? We multiply here and here with, okay, so basically what are we doing here? I am taking this p minus q to this side. That is, I am multiplying p minus q here and multiplying p minus q here. That means it becomes p minus q into 4p plus 9q is equal to, or divided by p is there, but I am multiplying p here and p here, right? So, this and this would cancel out and this becomes 5pq, right? This is what happened. Now, we have p minus q into 4p plus 9q is equal to 5pq. We multiply each term with the other term. So, p into 4p is equal to 4p square, right? Now, p into 9q is equal to plus 9pq, right? Now, minus q and plus 4p is equal to minus 4pq, right? Now, minus q and plus 9q is minus 9q square. This is equal to 5pq, right? Now, we have, either we could solve this, wait, we have 4p square plus 9pq minus 4pq is 5pq, right, minus 9q square is equal to 5pq. Now, we have 5pq on this side and 5pq on the other side. So, I am taking this plus 5pq to the other side, it becomes minus 5pq. So we get 4p square minus 9q square is equal to 5pq minus 5pq is 0. So we get 4p square is equal to 9q square. How did we get this? We took this minus 9q square to the other side. It became plus 9q square. So I would divide each side by q square. So I'll get p square by q square, and I'll divide each side by 4. So we'll get 9 by 4. So p square by q square is 9 by 4. So what is p by q? P by q is root 9 by root 4. And what is root 9? It's 3, and root 4 is 2. So the ratio or the value of p by q is 3 by 2.